Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's game is going to be between Bomber and DongRaeGu, also known as DRG. This is a Terran versus Zerg matchup. We are here on the map Metropolis, and let's begin this game as always with some player information. Starting down over here in the 6 o'clock spawn position, our blue player is Bomber. Bomber is a Terran player from South Korea, currently playing for Team StarTale. He is well known for his in-game antics and taunts. Most recently, Bomber took 4th place at the IGN Pro League Season 5 event. This was on December 2nd of this year. His opponent over here in the 3 o'clock spawn position is our red player DongRaeGu, currently playing on the account MVP Team A. You see this quite often, especially during tournaments, either if a player doesn't have an account or for some reason doesn't have access to his account for a given event. But this is DongRaeGu, or DRG as some know him. He is a Zerg player from South Korea as well, currently playing for Team MVP, and some consider him the best Zerg player in the world. DongRaeGu most recently took 2nd place at the 2012 auction all-kill on-game net Star League, and this was on October the 27th of this year. Now let's go ahead and hop right into the game. DongRaeGu moving out with his drone scout, and if you're wondering about that scouting positioning or that movement that he took there, he was looking for any potential harass, proxies, or scouting from his opponent, most likely though looking for proxy barracks as he is against a Terran player in a Bomber. So none of that is actually happening though. As you can see, Bomber opening up with that first supply depot and barracks, and with still no refinery and pulling up those resources, looks like we'll be seeing an early expansion from him sometime shortly. SCV Scout moving out for Bomber as well, and the Drone Scout now moving into the main, although he pulls back with that immediately. He's getting pretty much all the scouting done that he needs here with his Overlord, so no real reason to risk that drone. Although I guess he could have harassed that building a little bit, but decided not to. And ooh, look at this, interestingly enough, we do have a refinery coming out. It was delayed though. A lot of times you'll see 10 depot, 12 racks, and about a 13 refinery, but Bomber going with something a little bit different here. And again, we do expect him to move into that expansion very shortly. In fact, coming down right now with that SCV, so we'll be seeing that expansion start to build in just one moment. Over here now, the Drone Scout making its way back into the main, and the SCV Scout actually pulls back home. Let's see what he happened to see there, taking a look at Bomber's vision. Looks like he did see pretty much everything there. There was a lack of extractors. We do have that spawning pool coming through, and then of course we've got this hatchery here at the natural. So that'll be finishing up in just one moment. He'll be getting that saturated pretty much right away, and we're probably going to expect a transition. Looks like, yes, we do have a reactor coming through, so transition into a factory, which will allow him to come out with some double Hellion action to get some map control, is pretty much what we should expect here from Bomber. Pretty standard and very effective, of course, in this matchup. Getting those Hellions out nice and early gives him map control, especially against those unupgraded Zerglings, which will be the case here for DRG because he still has no extractor, so any of those Zerglings will just be at normal speed without that metabolic boost. Expansion now finished, 2 queens coming through as well as a few Zerglings. Let's take a look here, just one with 2, so just 1 Zergling egg hatching there and following it up immediately with 2 more queens. So that's going to be his MO here, open up a little queen heavy, just get some unupgraded Zerglings, get a nice strong economy here at the main and the natural, and then just sort of take it from there. There's the factory as expected, pumping out some double Marines there out of the barracks. Also now, still not even working on saturation there of that command center. He's coming out, in fact, with another one. So a quick 3rd command center from Bomber. With this, he'll be able to much more quickly saturate that main and the natural. Actually, the main as is looking pretty saturated, but he's going to be able to much more quickly saturate that natural expansion with this 3rd one. And then, of course, also turning this into an orbital command gives him that extra energy for some more mule action, further adding to an economic advantage that he gets from a quick 3rd. Alright, Zerglings now moving out with some scouting, still just sitting with those 2 and 2 more queens in production, which will put him at 6 here in the early game as he now prepares to move into a 3rd. And still, we are now 6 minutes in game time, still no extractor here for DRG, just sitting with this mineral heavy army. And moving into now that 3rd base, he's going to want to spread that creep to allow these queens to defend, because again, we'll be seeing Hellions pretty shortly here. In fact, there are the first 2 now making their way across the map. Hellions will grab that Zelnaga tower. We've got that Zergling, and he's got really no chance to get away. Goodbye to him, and these Hellions will be moving down to now try to harass and scout. Won't be able to do much, though, with all these queens in play. You can see forced back there, especially with that range of the queen. He's going to try to circumvent, though, and push his way towards the third. I'm a little surprised that DRG isn't pulling back to check for that. Hellions engaging the creep tumor. Now he knows, so here come the queens. And Hellions did not move towards the third position to scout that out. I am a bit surprised, to be honest. I guess he probably was worried about losing them, getting cut off by the queens, so decided not to engage. I mean, it's a safe assumption that there is a third coming out with, creep being spread out this far, this early in this position. He's probably thinking, okay, he's probably doing that so that he can quickly defend that third. So there's likely a third there. He hasn't confirmed that yet, but I'm sure he's got a fair suspicion that that is the case. Zerglings moving in. We'll be encountering those Marines. Quickly get dropped. Just the one Zergling. And another barracks there. I thought he was building another factory for a moment. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be going Marine tank. You can take a look. We got that Stimpak research as well as the Terran infantry level 1. And of course, siege tanks, and now transitioning as well into a starport, which is building right down here on the low ground. We'll be putting a reactor on that to go with those double medevacs. So Marine tank medevac, the MMM, as it were, for bombers, what we will be seeing. Cannot believe all this creep spread. So much already. Fantastic. Very good, DongRaeGu. And yes, I probably will, but just bounce back and forth between calling him DongRaeGu and DRG all game. Both of them work, as far as I'm concerned. All right, metabolic boost almost finished. He's got the 1-1 upgrades in the melee attack and Carapace level 1. Carapace? No, that's wrong. Layer is coming through as well. That's about halfway done right now. Loving the macro here from DRG. And the metabolic boost now finished. Gonna allow him to dance around. Looks like there was a little engagement that I missed. Those Zerglings a little injured quite clearly by a Hellion. And looks like the other Hellion made it to safety, but I'm assuming one of them got taken out. It does appear to be the case. Do we have any worker? No, we have not even had a single worker kill all game. 1 unit lost there for DongRaeGu, but 5 lost for Bomber. Really? Jeez. He's lost 5? Oh no, he's killed 5. Yeah, units killed. What am I talking about? I'm being silly. 5 Zerglings have been killed, but 1 Hellion in that transition. That is a 5 Zerglings to 1 Hellion. That's about a fair trade. Pretty close. Here come the drops. First one in action right now. Moving out here with the medevac filled with Marines. Stimpak is done, and the weapons level 1 will be finished, as well as the armor by the time this drop actually takes place. You can see that long route he's taken, trying to circumvent all the way around. It looks like he will make it just by that Overlord scout, so he should be able to do some damage here with this. Does he have any more scouts? No, just, any more drops? It is just this one. And again, he's done a good job of completely avoiding any potential scouting there from DongRaeGu. So here are the Marines now dropping just above the currently building 4th position. And he picked them up and then dropped them back down again, which is kind of funny. He's going to be moving down. He will stim up, and he might be able to force the cancel over here. We'll see when he decides to move in. I cannot believe this spread. I cannot believe this creep spread. This is unreal. So much creep spread. Unbelievable. Now another drop is moving forward. However, that will be scouted there by the Overlords, but at the same time, here are the stimmed up Marines. They are going to force a cancel or just outright kill this hatchery. Hopefully for DongRaeGu's sake, he cancels it. There you go. Saves himself some resources. The other drop, which was moving in this direction, will be handedly dealt with. Medevac gone, and now the Marines follow. Still, we've got the threat of the Marines over here. We do have a transition now into Mutalisk for DongRaeGu, which is going to help him deal with these drops much more easily. You push forward with some Speedlings, maybe some Banelings, and some Mutas. You can pretty much handle everything that a drop would throw at you. The Mutas to take out the Medevac, and the Speedlings and Banelings to take out the Marines. It's a win-win for the Zerg player, so it's not a win-win. It's just a win. All right, Bomber has moved into his 3rd over here, as you can see. Going in a defensive position with some bunkers and sensor towers and walls. I love this. I love the building placement here for Bomber. I mean, he's just going to try to sit here and defend. Now, with the Mutalisk now in play and starting to approach those heavy numbers, up to 17 now, he's going to be able to start to harass, pick off buildings here and there. Sensor tower first to go. Marines are really scary, especially stemmed up Marines, especially stemmed up Marines with medevacs. So that is something that he's got to worry about. But he's going to harass wherever he can, and the good thing is now with Bomber on 3 bases, it really spreads him thin. Now he will be placing up these missile turrets. You can see they're already in position, which will help him quite a bit. We got a big push apparently coming very soon. Spielings, Banelings, and Mutas getting ready to roll in and wreak some havoc. 4th has been rebuilt, is just about finished right now. And here we go, Spielings now moving forward. Banelings following very close behind, and the Mutas also moving up. Muta's gonna try to pick off the tanks, Spielings and Banelings to take care of the Marines. Nice tank spread though. We're gonna help Bomber hang on here. And again, spreading out those Marines. Very, very nice micro and great defense there by Bomber. He took some loss. Let's take a look there at the trade-off. Actually, DongRaeGu quite a bit behind right now in terms of resources lost. That is really too bad for him. Taking a look at Bomber Vision, and nothing going on yet in terms of drops. He's probably going to just continue to turtle up here and work on his army, work on his upgrades as well. That's the other thing you can see now, moving up to 3-3 upgrades. Here 2-2 now for DongRaeGu. And does D go for any air upgrades? No. Okay, so he did get weapons level 1 there for his meter list. Also preparing for a transition into infestors with those pathogen gland research coming through. That'll give those infestors that extra energy so that when they hatch, they can fungo growth right away. And just lots of Spielings and Banelings. Also now transitioning into Hive Tech, which will let him come out with a Greater Spire and eventually move into Broodlords. Oh, good old Broodlords. Marine tank push now spreading out a little bit here. Bomber going a little more aggressive now. Also move forward with some Marines here in this position. Probably going to try to start killing off this creep here in the center of the map with some scans. There it is. Spielings and Banelings moving forward with those Mutas. Look at that giant scary army. Spielings, Banelings, and Mutas. Oof. So frightening. Gonna be forced back here to his tank line. Let's see how DongRaeGu does. Takes out a few tanks, gets a bunch of Marines, and then pulls back. Again, that tank line being so deep allows Bomber to defend himself. If they were all clumped up, that's when he'd deal with huge problems. Now we're gonna move forward and start killing off some of these creep tumors. He says, man, I know you've been spreading that creep all game, but I don't care. I don't like it. And trying to engage with those tanks on siege. Let's see how much damage he's able to do. Banelings moving forward to pop some of those Marines. All the tanks get taken out. Now the full surround, but are those Stemmed Marines enough? No, they are not. DongRaeGu takes care of everything that Bomber just pushed with and trying to finish off those medevacs. Gonna chase them down with those Mutas. Decides to pull back though, at least for now, retreating before he walks into any Thors or large groups of Marines. Still though, pretty nice engagement there for DongRaeGu. Let's take another look there. Updated resources lost tab. DongRaeGu is still behind, but I think he, with that last engagement, caught himself up a little bit. Greater Spire coming through. Ultra Den just finished, or Ultra Cavern. Whatever you want to call it. It is done, so Ultralisk now can be produced. Nothing at the moment, but he's got that capability. Also coming out with the potential for Overlord drops. He's getting the movement speed and the drop capability. And some infestors, so DongRaeGu just doing a little bit of everything here. We see a potential drop for a Bomber, however that gets quickly spotted. Also now a drop moving in this direction as well. At the same time, engagement here in the center of the map. That drop making its way towards the main. He'll be all set over there. Tanks and Marines, again with Bomber trying to creep forward, trying to do some damage. Now dropping in the corner. Here come the Spielings and Banelings. Oh, popping the Baneling there by dropping a single Marine. That was excellent. We'll probably just see more Banelings produced though to defend, but still, that was some nice play there. He's going to continue to dance around and threaten the drop here. We're really going to need some more Banelings. If he doesn't make more Banelings, I don't know that he's going to be able to deal with these Marines. These guys are fully upgraded, and with Stimpack, they're ridiculous. They're going to shred right through those Zerglings. Another engagement going down over here, though. Speedlings surrounding those tanks. Now these Marines will do some damage, but obviously DongRaeGu was distracted here in the center of the map, and a Bomber hangs on. Guys still shredding it up here. Mutas move forward with these Speedlings. Finally able to take care of that, but man, those Marines did a lot of damage. DongRaeGu is still behind, and now about 6,000 resources behind. Attempted expansion over here. That is getting delayed by some Zerglings, and a bunch of Zergling reinforcements also forced the liftoff. Or did he just lose everything? Okay, I was going to say, where'd they go? Forced the liftoff of the Marines there, dropping in the main. I got a couple of Marauders in the mix as well. Should probably lift those up soon, though, yeah? And the other drop was taking place over here, but that got taken care of. Looks like DongRaeGu is now all set. Loading up some drops of his own. Now I gotta pay attention to 2 drops. Drops from 2 sides. Ugh. That's gonna be shenanigans. Shenanigans about another drop moving forward here for Bomber. At the same time, Overlord drop. Preparing to head towards the main there. How's he gonna deal with this? Oh, Medevac is forced back with the Mutalisk. Great response there by DongRaeGu. Takes care of that. Again, there go the Overlords making their way to do some drop of their own. You see some drop-on-drop action. Hot. 1 tank and a few Marines wreaking havoc over here at the 4th. We also got the 5th right up here. And, oh, big drop now in the main as well. We got Spielings over here with a counter-attack. They're going to kill off some SCVs, take care of a few of those production facilities. This bio drop is very scary, and we still have the one going down over here as well. This is ridiculous. Now, DongRaeGu's Zergling drop has been dealt with. He's about to lose his hive, which is not a good thing. He needs to protect that. There we go. Just barely able to hang on there. Marines over here still shredding through some drones. Brewlords trying to catch up. They are a bit too slow, though. And yeah, obviously as expected, just saw those guys lifted up. In the meantime, over here, Bomber continuing to shred through all this creep spread. He says, I hate creep. Let me deal with it. That's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic there so far for Bomber. He's doing a great job with these drops. Again, still DongRaeGu quite a bit behind. He's falling more and more behind as time goes on. Still hasn't landed this expansion. That's hilarious. He's too focused on all the other action going on.
We could use some help here.
Those Marines get taken care of. Festers, drop a fungal growth. And no other follow-up drops. I'm actually surprised he hasn't tried another one, another drop of Zerglings. I think now would be a great time to do that. I mean, his first drop was somewhat effective, and why not follow it up with some more? Let's take a look at the unit composition. We got some Broodlords and Zerglings and Banelings and a few Mutalisks in there as well. Still a Bomber with this drop harass. It's so hard to deal with, especially on a large map like this and so late in the game when you're so spread out. Got to keep units everywhere. Of course, one thing you can do, which helps a bit, is to place down some spine crawlers, but at the same time, 3/3 Marines, they will take out a spine crawler pretty fast, especially when you throw a few Marauders in there as well. Those spines have no chance, so that is sort of the problem with that there. Ooh, Medevac filled, gets taken out there by the Mutas. At the same time, though, what is happening here is that in Bomber doing all of this, DongRaeGu has not been moving out for a while now. It's been a while since we've seen really any offensive maneuvering from DongRaeGu. Now that's the real benefit here to what Bomber is doing. Now Bomber finally laying this down. Holy mules! Look at that mineral advantage. That is a lot of, how many mules? It's got 8 mules now up and running. That's a lot of resource gathering going on, let me tell you. Bomber moving forward to engage these Spielings in the center map. We also have those Infestors. All of those guys decided to pull back, though, when spotting this force coming. And Bomber in a good position. I mean, he's cleared pretty much all the creep here in the center of the map. There's just a little bit of creep left over here for DongRaeGu. And I think he's got some more harass going on, this time in the form of his Raven transition, and now coming out with a Ghost Academy. So, my friends, we may be seeing some nukes very shortly. Ravens moving around, killing off creep tumors, and this is going to allow him to expand in that position eventually. Also an expansion coming down right over here. Expansion for DongRaeGu over in this spot. SCVs. Is he throwing these away, or is he moving them to an expansion? I think he's just throwing these away. So you will, of course, see this in the late stages of a game. Throwing away some of your workers to free up supply to build more offensive units as opposed to having more workers. And this Viking, start doing work over here. Hopefully he gets handled. So those SCVs get taken out. At the same time, here comes a big push. Marines, Vikings, Ravens, tanks, medevacs, oh boy. Big engagement right now, guys. Huge fungal growth on those Marines, doing a lot of damage. It's a good start to the game, but you really gotta worry. Really gotta worry about those Ravens. Popping some Seeker missiles. Oh boy. There's a lot of damage to those infestors. Now the Vikings decide to engage as well. Ravens move forward, place down some point of fence drones with the rest of their energy. A little bit of fungal growth there on the Vikings, but it doesn't look like that was enough damage. And that is the good game from DongRaeGu. That's going to do it here in this matchup between Bomber and DRG. Alright, my friends, thank you so much for watching this epic matchup here between Bomber and DRG. Quite an entertaining game. Very impressive play by Bomber, who was just so offensive consistently and forced DongRaeGu to stay on the defense, and as a result, DongRaeGu did not move out for quite a while and do much of any damage to his opponent. There you go, great transition as well into Ravens for this final epic battle. Thanks again for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.